Then we're gonna get our capo, our handy capo, put that on that 6 spread. And get this beautiful sound here.
Hi everyone! So today we're in Drea's corner and we're gonna be talking about relationship dynamics. So I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Araceli and my profession is I work for a mental health nonprofit organization and I'm a community wellness specialist for anyone that is interested in knowing where my profession is from. And then we got
Michelle, and I'm a real estate agent if anybody wants to buy or sell. If you're ready to buy or sell. And my name is Drea and I have a regular job and I like to work out and that's pretty much it.
So if you ever want to go to the gym,
go
in
with
the San
me.
Dimas area,
I love to take everybody to the
she
gym.
takes everyone. She's the 5 a.m. club.
If you need anything, let me know. I have connections to everything.
And I'm Martha. I work in HR, and I do like to go to the gym, but I have.
she balances things. You're
yeah.
a super mom. Like don't stop downplaying. She
Super mom,
works.
yes.
She works
I go on
out.
phases
She's a mom.
every few months,
And then she does this. So.
I let it go. But yeah, so I do. I have 2 kids. I just recently graduated college. Maybe not as recent, so 2 years ago, and so I'm fresh in my career, and we all started this page, and we post on different days. You guys see our post, and we hope that they help, and that you guys continue to like our page and like our posts, and let us know if you guys ever want to hear like different topics that you guys might be interested in, because we love to talk and this would be awesome, you know. So we want to do this a few times a year. If you guys have any topics or issues that you guys want us to talk about, or you guys are just nosy about what we do and what we think, we all are from different generations, so we all have a different perspective. Yeah, let us know, and hope you enjoy our talk today.
Yeah, so roll the clip. All right, everyone, so we're gonna start our topic. So today is gonna be about the dynamics of relationships. Like really, we're gonna talk about like the rooted, like the icky wiki stuff that a lot of people don't really want to talk about. And I'm so ready to talk about it with these ladies because I think it's important that we really just break down family and just relationship dynamics so that we can kind of relate and help each other out as a community. So how do you guys have dealt with just relationship and dynamics and stuff like that?
You mean like relationship like with your partner or in
Yes, like I mean, it just depends. What do you feel like has really made you, in a sense of just transforming the way you see relationships in general? Like, do you feel like your partner really helped you see and form a better relationship, or do you think like it's up to you as to what you feel like what was more of an impact for you?
Well, for me personally, we've been together so long that we got together so young that I feel like we kind of almost matured a little bit together. So there was things in the beginning that I didn't like or I didn't agree with, but as we got older and you know we mature, he changed, and you get to a point where you just don't have to deal with like certain issues, like when you first start dating, or like cheating, or like you still want to party, like you're ready to settle down, those kinds of things. So me personally, at this point, I'm so comfortable where I'm just kind of like, you know, yeah, we're together, and I go to work, he goes to work, we come home, we have dinner, hang out, and it's not anything awkward or different, or where I call him and where are you and what are you doing and what time are you going to get here. So it's a little bit hard for me to really like
understand when someone's like
or like sometimes, you know, like if I talk to a girlfriend, she's having issues, I'm kind of like, well, I dealt with that when I was like in my 20s. Like I'm not dealing with that now. So my idea, I would be like, you need to just like either move it along, or so it's hard. It's hard to, I don't know if I'm making sense, but
it sounds like this. I don't know if you want to, you know, correct me, but like it sounds like you're more
Wrong,
logical.
I'm just kidding.
No, I feel like you're more logical. Like I started to notice that like when people are more a feeler, they can't really think straight, because I'm a very emotional person. You feel like you're emotional?
I'm a very emotional person, and I think I hide my emotions kind of well sometimes with my attitude, because I'm very like, I don't care. But deep down inside, I'm like a very emotional person. Like I'll be so angry, and I'm just like, okay.
But do you feel like your logical sense is more, it overpowers your feeling? Because I feel like I went through the same thing that you went through, but I feel like I was more emotional and more into my feelings, that I was petty. that I continued that immaturity of during that age of our 20s that made the relationship worse. And for me, in my experience, like it was a completely different experience.
I don't know. I think even in my 20s, I feel like I was very emotional, but I feel like I would think this is what I want, and so I would kind of push my feelings aside and try to do what I thought would work or what would be best or what would help my situation. Now, as I'm older, I try not to react too quickly, so I try to think, because sometimes I'm like, oh, is really worth it? Like, I'm gonna get all pissed off. Well, I am pissed off, but it's like, if I react, that's just gonna make it worse, and it's just an unnecessary situation. So I rather just kind of ignore it, and then I end up getting over it, and I'm like, oh, why? I wasn't even gonna get mad anyway, so it's fine. So I think it's a little bit of both. Sometimes it's just my emotions take over, and I'm like, you know, like I'm pissed, and then other times I'm just kind of like, oh my God, you're so stupid, like, you know. And I just ignore it.
But at least you say it to
I'm
yourself,
sorry.
right? It's different because imagine if that was me, I would be like,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you family feel? What do you feel? Do you feel like you're leaning towards more like Drea, or do you guys feel like you're more like
You're making me
like,
hot. You're making me hot.
or both? Who knows? Maybe you're a little bit of both of us, or I don't know. I feel like I've grown, but I know that during that phase, I was way more pettier than what she's describing.
Oh no, yeah, I not petty. I wish I was petty like back then, because I was like, now that I think back, I'm like, man, I should have done this and I should have done that, but I'm glad I didn't. But I think back sometimes and I'm like,
I think I can still be a little petty.
You think it still comes
Yeah.
out sometimes?
It definitely comes out.
When you're in relationships, so do you feel like it comes out like in any type of relationship that you're in, like in regards to like family, friends, and your current one, or do you feel like it's only in certain areas in your life?
Just in certain areas. Like, I mean, my fiance, I mean, the person I'm most comfortable with, I'm just like if something pisses me off, I'm just like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Like you're planning something behind your mind.
okay. You're so comfortable, you don't try to like cover it up or hide it. Like you're just like,
yeah, but then I can also be like, if something's bothering me, I do hold a lot in, and I'll kind of, instead of when I should be talking about it, I'll go and be petty. I'll come around and do something petty, or something really stupid.
I guess if you slam cabinets, is that considered petty? Because I'm a slammer. Like I'll be slamming cabinets.
Or
like,
slamming the door. I remember I used to slam the door. I don't do that anymore.
Slamming dishes.
Because it triggers me now. Yeah.
That's my thing. I guess so, a little petty.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I'll slam stuff.
Because I know one thing that we wanted to talk about too is jealousy. Is like when it comes down to, even in families, like I've known family members bring their partners around, and it's hard for them when like cousins are really close and they're like get a little jelly. And I know it happens with family, so I don't know if you've experienced just jealousy in general and all different relationship dynamics, or how do you guys feel about just jealousy? Do you feel like you get jealous too, or do you empathize towards jealousy?
I think, Martha, you can go ahead and answer this one, and then I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Yes, what do you feel about jealousy?
In my past relationship, my ex-husband, there was a lot of jealousy. So on my part, I wasn't jealous. I was the type of person who didn't care. I'm very innocent. So I didn't mind that, people were touchy-feely. But
you see, Louise, it's different.
But my spouse was very friendly with my friends, and he would put his arm around them. And I thought that was we were a family,
Yeah.
And even when there's cousins or, family member here, I was always very lovable with my cousins, even the male ones. And we would always put our arm around each other. Yeah. But when my husband was around, that was an issue, a huge issue to him. So I had to start, being a little bit more reserved around him and watch what I did when he was around. And it really got really bad, where I had to watch what I did around him all the time.
Even with your cousins?
Even with my cousins, yeah. It was a huge issue. Jealousy was a very big issue. And towards the beginning of the relationship, I wasn't the jealous type. I just, I was secure about myself. Like I knew that we were in a secure relationship. We had known each other since we were 16, so I thought everything was,
Good.
It was meant to be, so there should be no issues. But on his side, there was a lot of jealousy. So things changed, the dynamic changed throughout the years, and then because of situations that we had, and he broke the trust many times, then I became that jealous person, and any little thing that he would do would trigger me, and I would lose it.
So you would react.
Yeah,
Crazy?
Not crazy.
I can't see you being crazy, Martha. Like, I can't
I'm
see
really
her.
patient. I don't really snap, but in public. But yeah, I would definitely make a scene inside the bedroom. So everything was always on closed doors because I did not like to make our problems public. That's my side.
What is it that how do you feel about all of you guys feel about just in general about how when someone is jealous, like, do you feel like it's a red flag now for you now that you're a little older? Like, do you feel like if someone's jealousy, it maybe it's showing because they might be doing something behind my back? Because why would you behave that way if maybe you're not doing it yourself? Because that saying. Everybody has always said that since high school.
In my case, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
So
yeah.
after that relationship, it's been hard for me to keep one because
I was just gonna ask you.
I can see little signs, and right away I'm thinking, it triggers, and I have memories of the past, and I'm not going to tolerate it. So, but I don't know how it is for you guys. I was not naturally jealous, but it just I'm trying to wean my way out of it.
The same way. I was never jealous until I was in my current relationship. I don't care. I was fine. I was happy. And I think it's because all the stuff that happened between us during the whole process, like, it just, like, was, I tried to regain that trust, but it was just, like, one thing after the other. Like, it's just little things just kept chipping away. And it was like I keep going, resetting myself back. And I felt like I was self-sabotaging. I don't know if you guys... I don't know about that, but I feel like I self-sabotaged a lot, like, during that whole process because I think, like, sometimes, from what I understand, is, like, when we know or we feel like we're not safe, we're going to sabotage before they're going to hurt us because we're scared that they're going to hurt us. So then we ruin the relationship prior to even just giving it a chance because...
I feel you on that.
Yeah. And a lot of people tend to do that. And I seem to see that a lot in just relationship dynamics, that we self-sabotage certain relationships because we're scared of that rejection in the beginning.
How did you self-sabotage?
Well,
give an example. She's right. Give an example.
How did you
That's a good question.
You don't have to
self-sabotage. Okay, well, I'll just put it out there. My current relationship, we went through a breakup, and we were together for a long time. A long time. We grew up since... We were dating, we knew each other since 15, we were dating since 18. And, when you just go on and on and on and you start to wonder, like, where is this going? I did a little self-sabotaging in my relationship, and I always just thought I was good, everything was good, nothing's going to happen. And I can probably say towards the end, things got really bad, and I kind of, like, I know I'm not trying to play, like, not victim, but, like, I'm not trying to say it's all my fault, but I feel like I was the reason for a lot of things that went wrong. And so now, and then we went through a breakup, and now that we're back together, it's like we're dealing with a lot of things. It's like I never expected anything to go wrong on his side. And towards the end it happened, and I was kind of like, oh, crap. Like, and at the time it was kind of like, I was kind of glad it happened, but now that we're, like, back together and working it out, it's kind of like, okay, I see that he's, like, we're all human, and it's kind of like, oh. So going back to the jealousy thing, like, I'm still not, like, I'm not jealous, but I pick up on things more. Like, if I see, like, him talking to someone else, like, I can kind of tell if it's not going to be an issue, but, like, I can tell that there might be something, and I'm just like, okay, like, and that's when I get my, like, thoughts, like, well, let me see how this plays out, and that's it.
But I think that's a good thing because you've been with that person for so long, and you're obviously in a committed relationship, so this is kind of a growing process for you guys. You know each other, how you've reacted in the past to certain, issues, and I don't know, I think it brings you closer, doesn't it?
Definitely. I mean, now we can talk more about things. He's pretty pushy when I don't want to talk. He's good at getting it out of me now. So we're pretty good on that. But there's still times where I'm like, oh, God, I have to keep my thoughts to myself, because I'm like, well, I know there's not really an issue. Like, I'm not gonna do anything to mess up our relationship. Like, I know I'm gonna be with him, and I know now that he's not gonna do anything, because we've had that separation.
And sometimes you need that separation in relationships, even with like family dynamics. You need that separation from like relationships that you know you need to figure it out. And I know it's silly, like I brought it up earlier before we filmed, but there's this thing where Russell Brand talked about how, you know, when we are ready to let go of relationships, sometimes it's so hard to like let go of that ex, and he's explained a statistic where like 50 to 60% people, men and women, go back and look at their ex stuff in social media. So I wanted to kind of, yes, stalking. Go back and look. And it's kind of like the new age, because back in the day, I know, and I don't know if I'm just speaking for myself, but in regards to just like back in the day, we would just ask the person like, hey, have you seen the person? Like, who are they dating? So now I think
or you could just drive up to
or drive to the house.
You want your best friend drive you
make sure
because you didn't want him to
like back to
recognize
this
your
house,
car, right?
Right, yeah.
Yes.
By your house.
Sit in the back
See if
seat,
there's a
and
car
then your friend sit in the front, and then you're like,
That was the good old days.
yeah, like now, because
Just get on
now
your phone
if you're
and look.
stalking and you accidentally click, like you're busted. Like, what are you gonna do? You
I'll tell you a story that I got caught when I
might
was
as well
run over.
go and just like a bunch of pictures because you're busted. Like, yeah, I was looking sorry, well, not
But
sorry.
most of us do. Most of us stalk our exes, right?
I know
I mean,
that
they
if I had the
stalk us,
opportunity, I think I
right?
would. I'm nosy. I know Michelle had mentioned.
I don't have one.
I don't know if it, what do you guys think? I know Michelle mentioned it's more nosy driven. I don't know if you feel the same way. That do you think it's like more nosy driven? Do you feel like it's more you're just curious to see what they're doing?
I mean, I don't have an ex to go and stalk, but if I did, just kidding, babe. If I did,
But based
I
on
think
your
I would-
friends, like your friends, you have
Oh.
a lot of friends that you hang out with, and they talk about the relationship problems. Do you have a lot of friends that stalk their exes?
I'm not gonna say I have a lot of friends that stalk their exes, but I've been in situations where it's like, can you go look? Or, hey, I just saw this. Or, you know, just, did you see that so-and-so like this picture? Or why, you know, like things like
That's
that.
more common
But it's
now.
not, yeah. And sometimes it's not that we're looking. It's just that people put shit up. Oops, sorry. People put things out there and it's like, you see it. So then it's like, oh, you screenshot, forward, like, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
But I think it's both. I don't know because I don't have an ex to go and stalk, but I think it's both. I think it's like you kind of want to see what's going on. You want to see if they're dating somebody. You want to see if they're dating the person that you thought they were kind of talking to. I mean,
You want to validate yourself, like, was I right?
see, I fucking knew it. Like, I knew it, you know?
I knew she was you go back.
Yeah, I knew there was something there, you know, so that, or maybe you miss them and you just want to go and see, like,
What they're
why
doing.
do I miss you? And then you look and you're like, okay, no, I don't miss you. Like, next, like, move it along. I mean, I don't know. But I think it's both. I think you're, like, you want to be nosy, you're curious, you want to see what they're doing, you want to see if you were right about certain things, and I mean,
I
that's
don't know
human
why
nature.
we do it, but when I split up
maybe
with
if
my
they
ex,
put
I cyberstalked for, I don't know, I think over a year.
It can
Yeah,
also,
I
it's
did.
like,
It turns toxic, right?
Yeah,
A little
it's
toxic.
what you call toxic behaviors.
Yeah, this could be a bad-
and sometimes it can just plain be like entertaining, like, I mean,
Oh,
you sit
I
and
know.
scrolling through Instagram
Yeah.
or whatever, and like,
That's true.
just, I don't know. And
There's a story.
no, there is a really funny story.
There's a story.
There's a funny story. So, I mean, not to name names or anything, but one of
She'll tell us off camera.
you guys are gonna laugh. So, a person that I know got a hold of an Instagram page, like a legit business Instagram page. Somehow got the password from someone else, gave it out to like a few of us girls, and I just, you know, everyone had access to it, and you could just see, like, on the searches, you could see, you know, the people, and I would sit there and say, this person's searching for that person. Oh, this person searched for that person.
Oh, wow.
And it was kind of funny to see, like,
Huh.
Interesting stuff.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
so I think it was like 6 people with access to this page.
Yeah, and I think it's just human nature.
Yeah.
Like I said, back in the day, we would do the same thing. We just have social media
You
to
had to
help us do
drive
it faster.
somewhere.
Yeah. We used to drive. I know, I would stalk drive. And I almost ran someone over. So that,
On purpose?
on accident! I was so glad I would have been a hit and run. I would have been not here right now. And then people
Oh
saw me
my
too. It was so
gosh.
embarrassing. They saw my car. They knew it was me. And then
You're supposed to.
afterwards-
You're supposed to.
I know. Not just street people.
Your best friend's car so that
Well,
they
no,
know
they made
it's
fun of
you.
me.
Well, not even your
Oh,
best
they
friend
made fun
because
of me.
they're gonna know
Yeah,
that's your best
yeah.
friend.
Oh,
you
they
know?
made fun of me.
Borrow your friend's car.
And everybody
Borrow
knew
your
my
friend's dad's car or something. Not no. Yeah. You're
I
doing
learned
it
the
wrong.
hard way. I
You're
learned
doing
the
it wrong.
I know, I learned the hard way. So what tip would you give to a person who is dealing with stalking and because it's not healthy. One thing that Russell Brand said, he's like, you need to stop for 30 days. He said, stop for 30 days
I mean,
and detox.
yeah, I think you're just causing more harm to yourself, especially if you were not ready to end that relationship. I think you hurt yourself more.
Yeah,
because
you do.
you're constantly like digging or looking, and it's like they don't know you're doing it, or maybe they do and they're posting stuff on purpose, but you're the one who's getting hurt. You're the one who is being upset and emotional, but it's like, then stop looking.
Yeah, it's
So
like
the only thing
stop
I
looking.
have about that is that there is toxic behaviors that we do after a breakup, and I think we like totally we like, what do you call it, like super focus on that relationship and why it ended and how it ended, and you just kind of can't let it go.
I think that's
And I
okay
think
because that's part of like
It
the
is.
healing process.
Yes,
but if
like
it's
coping.
been
the
6
grief,
months,
the grief
and-
stages, the things
yeah,
that-
like if it's been
part of
6
the grieving
months and they've
stages.
moved on and they probably have like a new relationship or whatever, then
Yeah.
you need to stop.
And then the only suggestion I have to that is just get busy, like get a hobby,
Yeah.
start going to the movies by yourself, or just do things with other
Anything.
people.
Yes.
If anyone invites you somewhere, just go, like do it. Don't dwell in the house, because I did it. I know because I did it myself. So
Yeah,
don't
that's true.
dwell in the house. Just get out there, take a walk, do something that's gonna keep your mind off of it, so you're not constantly on it.
Right.
I know it's hard because we hold our phones in our hand, like
I block.
constantly,
I'm sorry, I
you know?
block. Like
I can't.
Once I realize that I
I
built
blocked.
this habit where I'm like stalking, and this doesn't have to be a partner. Anyone that I feel like, and I can't stop block. I can't control myself, and it's just it's screwing me in my head. I'm
Have you
just
ever
gonna.
blocked and then like
Black.
kind of got curious and unblocked for a few days?
Oh my god.
I have.
No, I'm not
You
curious.
did that.
Once I block, I'm not curious anymore
No,
because it's
going
not
back.
showing, and they're not popping in different
Right.
areas,
Oh.
different feeds, and I'm just like, I don't see
Yeah,
it anymore. They don't exist.
I've like muted. What is it when you
Unfollow,
mute?
or do
No,
you
not
mean-
unfollow, but because sometimes either
Oh, so you don't get the notifications
like
all the time?
well, yeah. I mean, like just like Instagram, I'll just select like to hide. What is it? Hide stories.
Yeah, you hide that.
Because I just don't like, you're annoying. I don't want to see your stuff, so I hide it. Or like if I'm getting bothered, then I'll hide it because it's like, why am I getting bothered? Like I shouldn't care that much, and you're bothering me, so I'm just not even gonna look at you. So then it doesn't even, when you play your stories, it won't even like show up.
Make yourself busy. Go
True.
on hikes.
I got busy, and it was so like
You still make time.
it's like.
You
Well,
still
you know
find
what?
time.
I
And then if we're working through our phones like we
Oh.
do with Reconstructing Feminine, we're always there. You're more inclined to go and look.
To look.
Let me just take a quick break.
Sucks. So I understand that for people who are starting to start businesses or pages in Instagram, and you're more on the phone, so you're gonna be prompted to go look. Yeah, tempted. So I would recommend block because you don't see anything. Not even in other people's pages when they like, comment, you don't see nothing. And to me, that's helped me tremendously. Like it's a weight off my shoulders for me.
You keep blocking.
I am. I'm just gonna block. So whatever. But I don't know. I mean, do you feel like that's a good coping mechanism, or do you think that that's too extreme? Because some
To
people might
block?
feel to block or
No.
No, okay, good.
I think blocking is healthy, but
I
you
think
also
if
have
it-
to
if it
find
works
something
for
else
you.
to do that'll
Yes.
keep your mind off of it. Because if
Exactly.
you block and you're constantly sitting there thinking like,
Tempted to
oh,
go.
if I could only see, you know.
And don't ask your
Um,
friend to go look for you.
I know a lot of
Why?
people do that.
But that's what friends
I
are
know.
for.
if you're a friend and your friend asks you to do that, lie.
Right?
Say there's nothing going on. I
No,
didn't see
that's
anything.
a good
I
friend.
haven't posted anything.
That's a good friend.
I mean, why help torture them? Like, you know? I didn't see anything.
That's a good friend.
I mean, don't ask me, Martha. Don't ask me. I'm not gonna do
I
it.
would ask you.
I know. Shoot. I'd probably tell you the first time, but then after that, I'm like, yeah, Martha, there's nothing on there. I'm sorry. They haven't been active.
I'm
anymore.
guilty of doing that. I know I've done that when people have asked me and I've sent it and then you get used to doing it. So then you're like, you want to tell them like, oh hey,
Have you
and then it's just like, now you feel awful. Like,
something?
Hey, that's a good. That's true because I've had
That's why I said you
friends
might as well like
ask me to look for them, and then I get involved, and then I want to stalk the person, and I don't even know that.
yeah, exactly. You get invested in the relationship. You're like,
I'm
watching a
going
soap
to my own
opera.
thinking, like,
They're already over. They're like, stop telling me, Michelle.
yeah.
You're like, but wait, let me tell you.
But are you talking about yourself or something? No, but let me tell you. Look at what they said. I know.
Do you
that
know
feeling.
this person? Because this person responded and they said, you're like, I'm over it.
It's true. Like, you just, and then after a while, you're like, how the hell did I get involved in this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you get sucked
It's
into
hard.
their drama.
It's hard. Because you do. You get
And
involved.
you get invested.
And you get
in a way.
emotional because that's your friend or whoever, and you're like, oh, you
And
want to
then
mess
it
with my
gets
friend?
messy if they used to be your friends too sometimes. Have you ever had that issue, like where it's like kind of a same group and it's like, oh, like now you guys got together, you're both my friends. Now I have to pick a side, like if something happens or I don't know. That's happened to me before with like just relationship and just kind of like it's just not the same anymore because they got together.
Yeah,
and I want
trying to
to.
think.
How do you pick sides?
Especially if they're both your best friends. That happened to me.
Oh,
Both of
that's
them are my
horrible.
best friends, so it was kind of like I had to step myself out of both relationships.
Really?
Yeah, for a long time, and then I reconnected.
That's
But
tough.
it still wasn't really the same, and I understand. I mean,
Did you reconnect with both or just
yes,
with one?
with both, and more towards the female because because I understand, I respect that. Like he's your husband, and I'm not gonna make you feel any type of way. So I was, but it was it wasn't the same, and it was like I understand, but it was like. It kind of sucked because I lost.
It's hard.
Yeah, you lost
Yeah.
the friends, kind of, because.
Yeah.
And I think it's just with dynamics too, and like how we talk about like how comfortable we feel with ourselves, like having people around and knowing like it's okay for you to have a friend here and there, like you feel secure or comfortable. But if you don't, it just makes it so much difficult. Because I've been in relationships where I felt comfortable, like yeah, go ahead, go be friends with her, I don't care. And then I've been in relationships was like no. You never had a friend, and now all of a sudden you want a friend?
Who's this
It's
friend?
abnormal. Like
Where
it's
did
just
this
like
friend come from?
I didn't meet you. You didn't care to have friends. Now you want to have friends.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends. At least for me, I don't know what you ladies have experienced in regards to like different relationships, and I know that you've explained that you've only kind of been with your partner for a long
Forever.
time, forever. I have too though. I've been with him for like 11 years. My partner, I've been with for like 11 years. But for me, it feels like it flew.
It doesn't seem like a
Doesn't
long time.
feel-
Like I joke and I'll be like, oh my god, forever. It took the best years of my life. But I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sometimes. I'm kidding. No, I don't know. See, I've never been a jealous person in my relationship with him or with like friends. Because I'll have friends or like I know of friends and it's like, oh, like they might get a little butthurt like if someone else is hanging out and like, oh, you didn't invite me, or why are they together, and like how come not included. Like to me, I'm like, I don't care, go do whatever you want. Like I'm not gonna get bothered. It's not gonna bother me with like my friends or like amongst my friends. With my husband, I'm not a jealous person. Like we can be out and if I see a really pretty girl, I'll be like, oh my gosh, babe, look, like she's really pretty, like she has a really nice body, whatever. He can look, I don't care. What will bother me is more of a disrespectful type of situation. Like if he looks like, I think it's only natural for you to look at someone that you find attractive, because I'll look like if I see a guy and he's good looking, like I'm gonna be like,
But I think,
cute, you
I think
know?
what you're saying has to do a lot with like your confidence in yourself. Like that's why you're not worried about if he looks.
Yeah,
or
you don't
if,
do it, like,
if, you
confidence.
know,
I mean,
it's like it's
not-
self-confidence, because if somebody wasn't confident about themselves,
but not,
it
that's
would be
true.
an awkward situation.
That's true, but I feel like there's been situations where the person can be very confident, and that's not gonna stop their partner to find someone else attractive. And I'm gonna say a phrase that somebody that I'm close to says, and it might be offensive or I think it's kind of funny, but I think it does make a lot of sense. They said, well, just because you have steak every night doesn't mean that you don't want a chicken nugget every once in a while. and I mean, I heard that and I was like,
That's funny.
I heard that and I thought, like, you can, I mean, as a female, you can be very pretty, you can be very confident, you can, you know, like, you're good. But that doesn't mean that there's not going to be some other female that might catch your partner's eye. She might not be as attractive as you, but there might be something that she's providing.
Emotionally.
I mean, well, maybe not just emotionally. Like there could be so many different things. It could be... I'm not even going to say that because...
It could be some really good...
I mean, it could be something totally
Pepino?
different. It could be something totally different that they're willing to do or provide or whatever, and maybe I'm going into like something totally different, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, how many times have you not heard or know someone who you look at them and you're like, gosh, like that's a really good couple, you know, they get along good, like they're both like good looking or whatever, and then you hear one or the other cheated, and then you look at the person they cheated with and you're like, what the were you thinking? Like, look at like your partner and look at this person.
I know. What would you say for the lady that like gets upset, like why did they cheat on, or why did they end up with someone that wasn't as good looking as me? Because some people get bent over that.
It's not about looks,
right? That's right. It's not about looks.
It's not about looks.
Because that's
it
what
really
I realized. Like, it really isn't about looks.
It really isn't. There could be like I said, there could be a different connection. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, you see it all the time. Like, you see like an attractive man or female, and the other person may not be as attractive, and you wonder, okay, like, what's going on here? But you don't know, like, maybe they work together, maybe whatever, like, the situation, and they just had a connection. Maybe the sex was freaking really good with this person, and they're not
the
cute.
passion. That's
like, there's something out there, like
intercourse. There's a difference between sex and passion sex.
Yeah.
There is. It's a huge difference. I know that to me was that differentiated for me. Right? For me. I was like, there's a difference. Okay.
Well, there's a difference between sex, passion sex, and just forbidden sex that you're not supposed to be having.
I think forbidden sex is still passionable.
It is passion.
It's still considered the same category.
It's like when you're hiding from someone. Like,
someone needs a bag.
Devil's advocate. You know, regardless if you're a man or a female, male or a female, there's something about that sex, that forbidden sex, like that forbidden person that you're not supposed to be with, or you shouldn't be like drifting away from your relationship. But there is that something.
Yeah.
So there's a difference. There's difference between passion.
Yes.
Passion, I think, is like the honeymoon phase.
Yes. Well, no, for me, it kept going. That's why I think
Good. That's good.
For me, it's like 11 years. That's why it's like, Jesus. But what I wanted to say is, why? Okay, because this is a good question, because someone actually DM'd me today, and they said something about that. You know, they cheated on their person, and but they're kind of stuck in between. Like, they know they want to be with the person, but they know that they shouldn't, because they did that person wrong. And it was a woman. Like, she did that person wrong, and I was trying to help them understand that in order for them to really figure out if they should be together is to separate, so she knows what she really wants. Would you recommend the same thing for someone who's kind of dealing, like if let's say we have cheated? I don't know if you guys have ever cheated, but if you've ever been in a situation where you've cheated and you still want to be with the person, but the person does not want, or is or not, or hot and cold.
I think that's one of those it depends questions.
There's
because
so
it
many
really depends on the
factors.
dynamic of the relationship. It depends on the people. I don't think
And if there's other
separating would
people
be
involved,
like beneficial, because then that's just kind of like an open door to, okay, we'll test the waters, and then just things can go sour. But, there's also the option of being honest and then just trying to work it out. And if it doesn't work out, then it wasn't meant to be with that person.
That's like my situation.
Yeah.
Like, I cheated and we separated. And there was a lot of honesty, about what happened during the separation. And I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know names. How they met.
Because you knew that you had...
Because, well,
done
for
something.
me, Also, I didn't want to be caught off guard
Yeah.
when I found out from someone.
Oh. Like,
And let me tell you, it really came in handy. I was out at a club one time, and a girl came up to me, and I knew exactly who she was. And I mean, it was bad.
That's
it
my
was
biggest
bad.
fear.
Okay.
That's my biggest fear.
It
Running
was
into
bad.
someone and
I
just
saw
like
her. We were at a table.
You
and
already
I
knew
saw
who
her.
she was, but she thought you didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we had been back together, and I was out at a club for a birthday, like a group of like 12 girls. I was sitting at a table, not really, drinking a lot, because I'm like, I'm gonna be good and drive home. Well, that didn't happen after this situation. So I see this girl, and I'm like, oh gosh, like you just feel sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my friend next to me, and she's like, she's looking at you. Oh my gosh, she's looking at you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden she's like, she's walking over here. Oh my gosh. And so I'm like,
she's building.
Yeah, and so she sits next to me, and she's like, oh my gosh, you look so familiar. I think we know each other through mutual friends. And after, a few drinks, I got pretty bold, and try not to cuss, but I'm like, no, you screwed my boyfriend. And she's just like what? And I'm like,
well, that's what she gets.
So she didn't know that you were the girlfriend?
She knew.
She knew. That's why she came over to me.
Yeah.
oh
and
my
then she's
God,
like,
you have poise, because I would be like,
no, and I said,
Rage. Work on the rage. Work
and
on
have
the
the
rage.
balls to come up to me and say, you don't know who
That's
I
a
am.
lot. Yeah.
can we bleep things out here?
Yes.
Okay, so I just told her, like, oh no, you fucked my boyfriend. And she was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, we weren't together, it doesn't matter. And then right away she's like, I just want you to know, he just loves you so much. And
It's like,
and once you guys got back together, he told me that he didn't want to talk to me anymore. And I said, oh, I know, because he told you that, and the other girls that he fucked too. And she was just like,
That's what I'm telling you.
yeah. And
That's
then
special.
and I'm like, it's okay though. And I'm like, I mean, you seem like a pretty cool person. We'd probably be friends if we didn't. I was like, but we can't because we shared the same dick. That's kind of weird. And she's like, she was like, oh my gosh, like she didn't know what to say. And I'm like, but you seem like a cool person. And she was just like, okay, and just kind of walked away.
goodbye.
And I was like, yes, that's why I wanted to know. Everyone thought I was crazy for wanting to know like details. And this is exactly why I wanted to know, because this girl tried to come up to me and make me
look
feel
like
this big, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I had a conversation with my mom the next day, and I told her, like, Mom, like, was I wrong? Did I handle that well? And she's like, no, Mina, you handled that very well.
So that's my
poise. That's some poise.
So it's like, I wanted to know, so there was a lot of honesty.
Did you get completely drunk afterwards and they had to carry you out?
Oh, I couldn't drive home.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Well, I'm glad that's
it
imagine if you were drunk.
It was a very
You get a pass.
expensive night because I had to leave my car. It was in Anaheim. I had to leave my car in the garage. It cost me $30. $40 Uber ride home.
Yeah.
$45
better than a DUI.
Uber ride to go back because
It's better than a DUI.
yeah. But
Those are
that's
expensive.
there was that honesty about what had happened during our breakup, like, helped. And then, but on the other hand too, it's kind of like, okay, well, now I know of everyone, so I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, you're gonna be at this place, like, I know this person's there. And so sometimes
It's
it
hard
bothers me.
after there's a break in trust.
Yeah, but
to
I'd
get
rather
back to
know,
that.
because for me, I don't care what happened, I just don't want to look like a fool.
Right.
That's it.
Just don't let me find out. Right?
Because Martha was talking.
Or
No,
let-
like that's,
or like,
that's
don't
what
let
I'm
someone
saying.
else
like,
know
As long
and
as
me
I
not
don't find
know.
out, don't let me find out, because then things will go sour.
Oh no, but I want to know. That's the thing.
Because
Because I don't
what
want
if-
to.
what if
I don't
she
want to
was
meet
like a fool?
someone.
Like, I don't want to look like
I'm
a
the
fool.
person that I don't want to meet someone.
Like, you
and
don't
be
want to get
"Oh,
caught
hi, I'm
off guard.
Michelle." I don't
I mean,
want to.
like,
I don't want to meet
It's like a
someone.
waste of time. Why tell me that you're doing that so I could just move it along? Like, why wouldn't I? That's how the way I feel is like, if you're gonna be doing that, tell me and see you later. Like, I'm okay with doing that. Like, just
So
shut
you
up.
wouldn't, if you're in a relationship and the person cheats, like, you're done. Like, there's no,
No, I
working
can't
on
say that
it.
because I know that my current one that's how I was. Like, it was like he cheated with his ex current, like, when I was first dating, but I separated for a year and I was dating someone else, but I was like a dummy going back. And I didn't want to, I wasn't ready to end the relationship, so I just kept going back and I kept going back. So then I had to like end that one, and and then I got pregnant. So it was like, there wasn't no healing. There was no healing. There was no healing. So it's like, even though that had happened, there was no healing. Because even when the infidelity happened, I was like, no, I can't be with this person, but I still love them, but I know cognitively it's not right. Like, why would I be with? So I forced myself, I said, no. And I went and I dated someone, and it was a complete opposite, but I kept going.
You couldn't.
I couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
But I think, like, you guys, this is the passion of that.
The what?
Because my other boyfriend was like, it was like, I don't like that.
That's gonna be blurted out, right?
I don't like that, okay? I don't. It was different, like when you're like this, that's different. You see the difference? This is nice and low boy like this. No, I don't like that shit.
She's like,
So, I don't know, maybe
my head. Every now and then it's okay. Every now and then.
But no, this person was all the time. I don't like that. Like,
That's all he needed. That's all he needed. Okay.
no, according to this person,
Making it work my way.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. So that's why for me it's like different. Like I don't know, like, and I feel like that's why I always kept saying like I think we need to like have a break and figure out like can we come back together and be more mature, because I feel like we had a kid at such a young age that we were so immature during our process and just pettiness. Like just having a kid, I've noticed patterns, and especially in my experience, like being exposed to like in the field, like I see patterns that women kind of deal with the same thing with the pettiness and when they have kids at a very young age, because maturely we're not like, we're stunted. And I talked to a clinician about this, and I asked her, I said, hey, you know, I know you went to school, you got a master's and everything. I'm like, hey, I realized that this person kind of, she reminds me a lot like how I was. Like, do you think that's what's going on with her? Like, were we emotionally stunted because we had a kid such a young age and we weren't ready for it? She's like, yeah, girl, I see that a lot. Like, it's very common. I was like, okay. And I was like, we need to do a video about that to educate women that like it's a possibility that might happen to you, and just to be aware of it so that you can work towards it, because you got a baby at a young age and you're not really ready maturely, whether you think you are, but if you know that you're not mature, at least you know now and you can work towards it. Like I mentioned, instead of doing petty things like what I just described in the beginning of the video, just I did a lot of petty things. I threw pennies. Did you? I threw pennies. I feel so guilty that I threw pennies when I was pregnant. Did you ever throw anything? And I never threw anything. When I was pregnant, I threw pennies.
Yeah,
I regret that.
Where'd you throw?
I threw, okay, so my situation, so we've been together since like high school, right? And so at this fight that we had, I had found out that he cheated, and it was somebody very close to us. So the way I found out, I was just, the person who told me, I was like, this person's not gonna lie. Well, I had kept in contact with the other girl. Like, I considered her a good friend. Like, I was constantly like, can you go get her, bring her over, blah blah blah. Like, I kept hanging on to that friendship, you know. And little did I know that they had this thing. And so when I found out, I was like, what the hell? And during that time, I was kind of like, I was on check, basically. Like, I mean, I'm gonna put my business out there, but whatever, I don't care. He kind of like had me on check, because there was a time that we already had our son. He was only about 7 months, but we were still young, and he was he wanted to be out. He was always like, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there, and I was just kind of like, okay, you know, I mean, maybe once I have the baby, or maybe once the baby gets older, you know, he'll calm down. He didn't. So we got to a point where I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to, like, I thought being 19, and you know, I'm like, I have a kid, like, this is my baby daddy, like, we're gonna stay together and we're gonna do all these like family things. Well, I mean, 19-year-old guy mentality is totally different. So he just wanted to party, and so finally I said, you know what, I'm not dealing with this crap anymore. So I took all his stuff, I threw him out, and we separated. During the time that we were separated, it was a few months. I dated some. I dated. I totally forgot about that.
That's
I
good.
had dated. I dated someone, not intentionally, but this person just happened to come back into the picture.
Yeah.
And it was nothing serious, but we dated. So when this mutual friend that he messed with, she's the one who basically snitched on me, and I didn't know, like, that's how he had found out, right? I didn't know. And so from the time that he found out, it was just kind of like, where are you at? You better come home. Like, you know, don't go here, don't go there. And I was like, I felt so guilty because, you know, I had never been with anybody else but him. So I felt so guilty. So whatever he said, I'd be like, okay, like, I'm like, I never used to go out. Like, so, you know, now that I do like things, like, it's just like, I didn't do any of this stuff before. So if he said like, nope, don't go out, I'm gonna go here, and I'd be like, okay, like I'm mental, you know. And so then this close friend of ours was like, why are you dumb? Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, well, because I was embarrassed. I was really embarrassed about dating this other person. And I said, well, you know, during the time we separated, like, I went out with this person. And they said, well, that's kind of bullshit because he did this and this and this, you know, with this person. And I was like, what? Martha left
because she had to go do her mommy duties because she's super mom. But I know that Michelle had a question in regards to like what we were talking about. So go ahead and ask Drea because I'm interested too.
That's fine, you can ask.
Okay, I'm like,
no, you can ask. It's fine.
So this girl, was it someone that you both would confide in, like,
yes.
tell too much business?
Yeah. We were like, we're all friends, and it was like somebody that I actually liked being around. Like, knew my whole family. Even like moved in with her for a little while. Like, while I was like, not very long, but just like a very short while, maybe like a month or so. So it was like, yeah, I mean, somebody that I felt very comfortable with talking about anything, pretty much.
Yeah, because I know that like what happened with us is there was a girl who my fiance used to talk to, you know, tell her how much, oh, I miss Michelle, this and that, and she would, you know, was a shoulder to cry on. And I always knew I didn't like this girl.
You had a
I
feeling.
always knew. And he would tell me some of the conversations that they would have and say, no, she wants to meet you one day. Like, she, you know, she really hopes that things work out. He would even show me text messages, her saying like,
oh, hi, this is my baby. You're on camera.
Hi.
Oh, okay. He's on set.
Get out real quick.
We have a crasher.
He would even show me text messages where she's like, I really hope it works out between you two. Like, I'm rooting for you guys. And I would always be like, that's a lie. And he would just be like, you're just being, you know, crazy, whatever, assuming things. And I would see text messages from her saying like, oh my gosh, like, you're such a good guy. Where can I find a guy like you? And I'm like, those words always mean,
not here.
I want you. I don't want a guy like you. I want you.
Right.
And so
when are you going to leave your lady?
Yeah, so that
Like,
always used to piss me off.
Yeah.
And so later on, I find out that they had kissed. I mean, we're all separated, so, I mean, we were separated at the time, so, but it's just like, this whole time I knew, like, if you're telling someone, like, oh, where can I find a person like you? No, you want that person.
Right.
And just to find that out, it's like, this whole time someone's behind your back telling you, you know, oh, I like you, you know, I really hope you guys work out. But in reality, they're like hoping it doesn't work out.
Right. Well, see, back then there was no like text messaging or nothing like that,
Yeah.
you know. So I didn't know exactly what conversations they would have when they were by themselves, but the way I met him was through her, because her and I worked together. And when she introduced me, it was more of like, oh, this is my cousin, like, you know, play cousin or whatever. And I thought, oh, okay, you know, okay, that's fine. So then, since her and I had already started somewhat of a friendship because we worked together, it was so easy to hang out together as a group. Like, it wasn't a big deal. Mm-hmm. I never suspected, I never noticed. I always considered her a friend. Like, she went through her things in her relationship, and, you know, I tried to help her as much as I could, and always had her back. And so when she would confide in me, I would give her advice. If, like, I had a problem, like, I would confide in her. So that totally came out of
Left field.
left field. And when I found out, it had happened like a while before, like maybe about a year or two when I finally found out. But what pissed me off was that during that time, I kept in touch with her. You know what I mean? And like when she would come and visit, like I would say, hey, can you go get her? Like I want to hang out with her, like because she would bring her little boy and I had my little boy, and you know, and I thought she was my friend, so I wanted to hang out with her, you know, and so when I found out, I was just kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, and I never really got an answer as to how it happened or how did it start, and I don't think I even really wanted to know. Like it didn't matter. Like it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just, you both crossed this line, and because I was close to her too, I almost was a little more hurt with her, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, okay, a guy's a guy, and if someone's putting it there, like they're gonna probably take it. And so it was more kind of like, gosh, like you could have, if it was him, like why didn't you stop him?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was like a mutual thing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, I never trust someone like if you're someone's like shoulder to cry on, there's a connection there.
Yes, I really. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I cut off there. Like, yes, you're right. I've noticed that like when it comes down to like an emotional connection can turn into a physical connection. And I understand that fear of just knowing that like if someone could be, well, I'm sorry, the bartender gave us something.
It's water for you.
No, he gave me two.
Oh my god. Here, cheers.
Cheers. Because we're almost gonna end the video, but I know
that's like it's like such an ongoing topic, and it's not necessarily always the guy doing it. You know, I mean, there's a lot of cases like the one that you were talking about earlier, where it's a female too. But I just feel when it happens, there's so many other things to consider. You know, like how long you've been with the person, but the type of relationship that you're in, if you have kids, like there's so many other things that factor in. But I feel, I mean, me personally, I chose to stay. I'm glad I did. I don't have any regrets, and it's not something that we even ever talk about. Like, you know, it doesn't.
It sounds like you guys were able to move on from the traumatic experience. Because
Yeah.
to me, I see it as like a traumatic experience.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where it'll like I'll remember certain things, or because this was a friend that, you know, became part of like almost like part of my family, because my whole family knew her, his whole family knew her. So people, I mean, we didn't go around telling everyone our business. I'm a little more open to talk about it now because I feel it happened so long ago, and I'm just kind of like, it's done, it happened, whatever, I'm over it in a way. But when other people that don't know, they're like, hey, so whatever happened to so and so, like I always thought, and I'm just kind of like, well, you know, she moved out of state. And then I look at him like, I should just tell everybody. Well, I kind of did.
You're so good, because I feel like I want to tell everybody to like mask the person. I know I have trouble with that. Like I talked to my supervisor because she's a clinical supervisor, and she would be like, well, why do you want to tell people? Like, what are you gonna get out of it?
Yeah.
And she's like, you're right. What am I gonna get out of it? Do you want validation? Like, what do you want? And
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh no, that's a good question. Are you still gonna feel better if you say something? Like, is it gonna change anything? And I was just like, I don't know. I guess I just want people to know how this person is. Like I want people to know who this person really is.
Yeah.
So, but that's not your responsibility to do that. I was just like,
Yeah.
and I think it's just because of the vindictive, the being petty, and
Yeah.
I'm used to that cycle.
Yeah.
And then it's it's interesting because of what you say, because one thing that I know that I struggle with is like when I tell people that like he's the one that like did it first, I feel insecure about like people judging me that I'm still with the person. Like, have you ever felt that way? Like feeling like, oh, people are gonna judge me because I stayed with the person, even though you did it first, or vice versa. Like, it's still a lot of people judge you for staying with the person that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think people are
Yeah.
gonna judge you for anything. So if they're not the
Because
ones,
I see those memes with like, you're with the cheater, he cheats, and it's just like, oh,
like who's a cheater,
yeah,
who's a
it's like-
cheater. I think everyone, like people are gonna judge, but I just feel like unless you're in that situation, it's really hard to say what you would do, because you don't know. Like I can say, you know, now I can say like, oh, I would never, you know, blah blah blah, or like I wouldn't stay, or you know, but I don't know that. Like, what if it was to happen, and then I say, dang it, like, you know what, like we have like other responsibilities together now, so I'm just gonna stick it out because
Yeah, and then when you talk about like, well, who did it first? It's like, I know for me, like, not, validating anything that I've done, but it's like, I know my reasons why I did, like, and we go over this all the time. It's like, well, I wasn't getting this out of you or our relationship. And so, yeah, I chose to go and handle it, another way. And then it's like, then it causes, him to do something. And then I'm doing something, and then it just goes back and forth. So, like, there's reasons why people do things. And for you to say, like, people, you're worried about what people will think. But it's just like, well, everyone's human, like, I'm just, we look at each other, and we sometimes we want to put blame, and you just have to kind of get over it. And that's where we're at too. And even before I cheated, it's like there's things that had happened before that I could say, well, I did it because you did this when we were 19, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's stupid. You can go on and on.
Yeah.
And it's like we're in such a better place now where, I mean, even though we still bring things up and it causes arguments, but we have different goals and dreams now that we're working towards, and like the excitement of our future is just everything right now. So we're like, you
can let it go.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Well,
but but I'm like, okay, well, that's in the past. This is how it is now. Like, now we're making plans to, travel. Like, we're gonna get married finally, and just,
yay.
Like, things are good now. I mean, things still come up.
And you grow up.
Yeah.
People change as they get a little older.
Yeah.
The mentality is a little different.
Would you think that you ladies would ever consider, like, doing couples therapy? Ever?
We tried
to kind of,
that.
like, talk about what happened in the past to make sure that it never gets bring up maybe later on in the future?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, recently, when I found out that he was going to propose, I kind of had, like, a breakdown. It's like, I guess maybe we've been together for so long, it was kind of like, well, why now? Why is he doing it?
Oh, you're questioning it.
Is it just because there's pressure from people? Is it because, I don't know, what I couldn't believe that it was genuine. And so I called my mom, and everyone loves him, so you have the biased opinions, and it's like, okay, I need to talk to someone else who doesn't know us. And so I had to tell him, like, I need to talk to somebody. And so I ended up talking to someone, and she put a lot of things into perspective, and it helped me see, like, well, he wouldn't be doing it. If he waited this long while everyone's bugging him to do it, he's doing it because he wants to. Like, he went so long ignoring the people, that he wouldn't let them
like, talk him into doing it now.
Doing it now. Yeah. So basically, like, it's what he wants, and then it made me feel better. So when I first went in there, it was like, I went in there saying, like, I have issues, and then after talking, she's like, okay, so what's the issue? And it was kind of like, I don't know. And I literally said, I don't know. And I'm like, I feel stupid for coming in here. She's like, no, like, it's what you needed,
Yeah.
But, and so even though I felt better, I'm like, I think couples therapy would help, because it's communication.
It's communication, and just kind of like hashing things out, a mediator. Because I know that's kind of like where I'm at in the crossroads, where it's, all right, I'm mentally ready to give it 100% in couples therapy, because I wasn't, and just give it a go. But that's the last run for me, at least. This is either gonna make me finally learn these skills to communicate and trust you, or this is going to be the end of the road.
Yeah.
Where we can reconcile and in a healthy way.
Yeah. And what she described it as, like, mental injury. And she's like, you've been together for this long, things have been just like a cut. Think of it as a cut. It doesn't just heal right away. Like, him proposing doesn't fix the problem. You still have these things that you need to heal, and that could take time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I still want to be angry.
Well, that's the reason why I haven't moved into a house, because I kept saying that over and over. I said, why am I going to move into a house if we're not mentally okay? Like, I'm just going to bring in the drama in the house. And I can have this, like, nice house and car, and we're paying the bills, but if we ain't getting along and I don't like you, why would I want to be with you? Why would I want to be with you? I don't get that. I was just like, no, it's torture.
Yeah.
Because one thing that one of my good friend had said, she said like, girl, imagine you're getting old. Why would you want to be with someone who's like mentally straining you when your body's hurting? Why would you want all that? And I was just like, yeah, oh my gosh, that's so true. Like, we're getting old. Like, you know, things happen. Physically, you're drained and tired. Yeah. Why would you want to be with someone that's, you guys are just not able to meet in the middle and communicate? Yeah. And I know that's where I'm at. Like, I just have to learn to communicate and just either figure out, am I going to trust this person or am I not? And if I'm not, let it go. No more middle. Because I've been in the middle for too long. Because I'm undecisive, and that's partially my fault. So I realized I was like, I need to stop being in the middle. Either I'm 100% here or 100% no. Because the whole middle thing has been screwing me over. So don't do the middle thing. It's not, oh yes, no, I don't know, maybe. Like, no.
Yeah, it gets exhausting.
It's exhausting, yeah. Because then you're always having that in the back of your mind. I think that's what made it hard for me to trust, because you're half in and half out.
Yeah.
And that's why I take responsibility over the fact that I was half in and half out. So I'm ready to figure out if I'm going to be full in or full out. I don't know. We'll see.
That's going to be another day.
Yes, yeah. Hopefully one day you go to couples therapy. We could talk about your experience in couples therapy. Yeah. Hey, I have a bunch of websites that I can link you with.
Well, you know what's funny is that so he's a fireman and he has a great mental health program through work. So
that's really good.
And it's free for like family, and since we're so close to being married, they were able to get me in for free. And so when I show up, you know, and I'm just thinking like, I need to speak to someone who's biased, you know, because everyone's always like, oh my gosh, you're with the fireman, that's so cool. And I'm like, it's really not that cool. Like, it's not, I mean, you never see the person. So when I come in to see this girl, she's a police officer's wife, and she knows a lot of the people from his department. And I'm like, great, you know, you're biased. But she's like, no, trust me, like, I hear this all the time. You know, I don't know him, you know, so that was a little weird, but she was able to really help me see. So I don't know if I would go back to her. I think I'd want to talk to someone has no experience in first responder. Yeah.
Because you are right. That's one thing that I have heard, that when people are either police officers or firemen, they're always, you know, they're always on call.
Yeah. And another thing too is like with their mental health program, they have classes like significant other survival training. And the woman who taught the class was like, it's just like, wow, like, I'm not alone. Like, these feelings that I have, I'm not alone, you know, and it teaches us what they go through. So, I mean, maybe that could be another talk too.
That's interesting, because I'm sure that there's a lot of women out there that might have firemen and police officers that are, because it is totally different. It is.
Yeah.
It's like, because I know when I worked for Kaiser, and doctors and nurses have kind of the same type of schedule where they work 12 hours, where they're gone for 4 days, 12 hours. And yeah, I have a 3-day weekend, but being gone for 12 hours, it's a lot. Mm-hmm. And sadly to say, there's a lot of infidelity going on in there too, because they're there for 12 hours.
So long.
And if they're not getting what they're getting in home, and it's just...
And there's things that you can't relate to either.
Yeah. They get together with trauma.
Yeah.
Like, and the hospital, at least in the hospital setting.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that he won't tell me, like about things that happen at work, because he doesn't want to upset me, because things that I've experienced. And it's like, okay, so now he can't come to me. Well, who's he going to let it out? And so, you know, when I was going through the significant other training class, you know, I'm hearing all these women talk about, oh, my husband is so mean when he comes home. He's this, he's that. And I'm like, wow, like, I have it easy, you know. He can walk in the door after not sleeping all night, being gone for 5 days, not sleeping. And I'm like, can we go to the beach? Can we go shopping? Can we do this? And he's like, yeah, let's go. I thought I had it easy. And until she said, like, well, he might be just acting out in a different way. Maybe he's cold. Maybe he's not very, like, emotional. Not loving, because he's pretty loving. But I don't want to say shallow. But he's just, like, he's not very emotional. Yeah. And when I want, like, a deep conversation with him, I don't get that. And so she's like, that's probably his way of coping. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little issue compared to what I'm hearing about these other women. Like, my husband comes home and drinks 6 beers and then falls asleep on the couch for a whole day.
That's worse.
And I'm just like, wow. It made me appreciate
because they're
him
coping.
even more.
Yeah, their coping mechanism
Yeah.
is to drink and to erase whatever they saw that was so traumatic for
Yeah.
them.
So,
I mean, who knows? Well, he looks like, the photos that you show, he looks like a fit guy, so him working out is probably an outlet for him too.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know how the other firemen, like, if they're because he's a pretty fit fireman.
Yeah.
He's a pretty fit fireman. Because I've seen another fireman, a friend of mine, well, it was his ex-man, but, like, and he's very short little physique, but, you know. And I've seen a few firemen before, and I was just like, wow, he's very, 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 like, you can tell when someone's dedicated to working out. You can tell he's dedicated to, like, it's a huge night and day.
It's a good stress reliever.
Oh yeah, and that's a good coping mechanism. Like,
yeah, so I think I
has
have it
that.
pretty lucky compared to some other women.
But it's always like that. I mean, I think in a lot of situations,
Yeah.
sometimes you feel like your situation's like you're dealing with all this stuff, and then you hear someone else, and you're kind of like,
But that's also not a problem for me, but it's also frustrating for me because it's like I still have things that bother me, and I feel like I can't talk about it with other people because they're gonna look at me like, you spoiled brat, that's it, you know. So it's something that still bothers me and it still affects our relationship,
right.
But because it may not be as bad as somebody else's
Doesn't mean that yours isn't valid.
Yeah, and it's
No,
like
yours is
I
valid.
have to like hold it in because I'm like,
all right, everyone. So we're gonna have to end the discussion. I don't know where we're gonna end it. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this, but I hope that I did a very smooth transition. But I hope that you enjoyed our discussions. I know that we're kind of bouncing around, and I know Martha had to leave in the middle of it, but we appreciate that she was here and to chime in and give us her perspective. And I hope that you found value in, like, our perspectives and just our tips and what we went through, like, generation wise, and just like the things that we've been exposed to. Our plan is for us to try to do this hopefully weekly or maybe monthly, depending how this goes. We're going to be talking about a lot of just interesting topics that's going to help individuals just persevere in life with relationships, work, but anything that's to in life. We're going to try to help the best that we can with sharing our experiences, being as raw as we can, being as transparent as we can, with the best of our ability, so that we can try to help you as much. And don't be shy. Comment down below. Let us know your experiences so that we can help you as well. DM us. We're here to help and guide and just give suggestions and recommendations and tips. And I hope you really enjoyed our video. Till the next one. I don't know if you want to say bye. Do you guys want to say bye? This is their first video, so I'll talk to everybody later and see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
I think all of us should have a hobby of some kind. If they like to play, get them a good instrument and play. You don't have to try to make a living out of it, just play it.